Hey everybody, this is Stacking Pennies, Corley Joy alongside Ryan Flores, and big guest coming in the Nonsense Garage, Bubba Wallace, talking about his P3 finish at Homestead Miami Speedway. All that, a little bit of recap coming up right here on Stacking Pennies.
Stacking them deep, selling them cheap.
It tastes like gasoline, rubber, and victory.
We're just out here stacking pennies.
All right, friends, welcome to Stacking Pennies. Corley Joy here alongside the normal band of character here, just Ryan Flores. But we have a special guest. P3 finisher yesterday from Homestead Miami Speedway. Bubba Wallace joins the Nonsense Garage.
Let's go.
Hey,
What up?
What's up, buddy? Thanks for coming in this morning on a Monday. How's it going?
I'm good. I can't believe Larson doesn't get a shot on the podcast when he wants, but you got to give it to Bubba Wallace, of course.
Well, he declined, so you're the next.
Oh, you skip over Bowman. Yeah.
So, congrats on that's a hard-earned day.
Yeah.
We'll get into how much focus Homestead Miami takes, especially running the fence. You just had a great day, start to finish. Had a great weekend.
Great weekend.
Mm-hmm. How did your race go all the way up until that last run there?
Yeah. We fired off. We started ninth, and had a measuring contest there for first 5 laps, and settled
With
in.
who? Did you win or lose?
I forgot who it was. The 42, the 17. The 16 was there. It was all clean, good racing.
Yeah.
And I expected to fire off a little bit better than what we did. We fired off really tight, and there you kind of get stuck. And so I was really like, man, this is not what I had yesterday. And so we made an adjustment, and I'm like, it's okay, still nothing there. And then it dawned on me, I'm like, man, this is the exact same feel that I've had the last 2 years running 15th or 20th, wherever we finished, right? And I was like, man, we're in our operating window. Give me the clean air.
Yeah.
And
How'd you get it?
Pickers.
Hey.
Pit crew, they picked up a couple spots. Our first good restart, I forgot where we restarted. I have to go back and look, but maybe 6th to 8th, and we drove up to 4th. And so
Now you get a sniff.
Now it's like, okay, this is a little bit better. And I was stuck behind Byron, it felt like, for 100 laps, just right on his bumper. Well, then into that stage 5th, came out off pit road 3rd, and put them boys to work.
Mm-hmm.
Showed them up, got the lead, took off.
Rumor has it them boys were the dogs of the week too. We'll get to that later in the show.
Boys is solid right now. But yeah, had good restarts, and it was nuts how, like, when I got out front, I'm like, oh, there's my practice car again. Got it. In control. Like, Larson was faster, but the lines that I was running into running the slider line.
That seems to take in. That might be the dominant line now. Why do you think it's developed into that?
So last year, I think Briscoe started doing it.
And Reddick does it a bit too.
Yeah, and Reddick. And so we really studied on how to do that. And it was a good and bad thing, because all of practice I was doing it and felt comfortable with it. And then I was asked in our debrief meeting, how was the run on the wall in 1 and 2? And I'm like, oh, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. And so I damn sure didn't even attempt it one time all weekend, not even in the race, because it cost you a second. We were watching Larson in practice.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the second group. He hit the wall 3 or 4 times.
Yep.
And every time it was a second.
Well, look at the 48 car, right?
Yeah.
They were like, hey, you need to do something different here, and he went up there on the top and
Gave the race away.
I gave the lead away by hitting the fence, I don't think I was going to hold them off regardless, because when you get down to it at that point, they could slide you into 3 with the line that I was running and somewhat make it work, maybe. But yeah, our slider line into 1 was really good. And even talking to Blaney after the race, he was like, he was watching on the couch at that point,
Real nice.
He was
Big
like,
sad.
because he was running 3rd at that point behind Larson.
Yep.
And he was like, there's no way that Larson was going to get past you. If you ran a clean race, you had him at bay.
I was riding along with the 5 from my couch as well.
Oh, yeah.
And you were running the fence 3 and 4 particularly awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And just talk about how much focus it takes and how precise and how smooth you have to be running the fence, because certainly that's the talking point from Homestead Miami Speedway up in the booth and on the broadcast, but rarely do you hear somebody talk about how much it takes and how perfect you have to be.
Yeah, no doubt. I think, it takes me back to Coda for a second. Coda in the race, the car was driving me, and
In a good way or a bad way?
in a bad way. Like when the car's driving me, I'm out. And it's so hard for me to figure out how to get speed out of a car that wants to do whatever it wants to do.
Yep.
Right. And there's obviously drivers that can figure it out.
Now, is that particularly when the rear's swingy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. When the rear's swingy. But then it's like, oh, it's another road course for Bubba. Yeah. Whatever.
Yep.
When we go to the Roval, we qualify top 10, we run top 10, and we finished top 10 I think the last 3 years. And I have been in control every single time. Not knowing what I'm doing, but going in there, I'm like, okay, that worked, and I don't have to think about the car.
Yeah.
So go to Sunday, or rewind to Sunday, I'm going in there attacking the top, and I'm like in the lead. I'm like, oh, got it.
Yeah.
Easy. I know where it's going to end up. I can turn here. Oh, it actually responded. Nice. Now put me back in 8th. I'm all over the brakes. Oh, bam! Hit the fence. Hit the
Inconsistent
fence.
right front, rear
yes.
grip.
And that's just dirty air.
Yeah, dirty air.
So you mentioned earlier that you went from 8th to 6th and then 5th to 3rd.
Yep.
So does it get progressively better the more cars you pass?
Step better. And some places are like drastically different. I feel like Miami barely got better. And it was like a light switch when I got to the lead. Usually, like, let's say Kansas, you can go from 12th to 6th, and it's like, oh, okay, we got a race car. You know?
Yeah.
And then when you get out in the lead, it's like, oh, I'm loose. Oh, gosh.
Kansas?
Kansas, yes. Yeah. And so here is like, if you're not leading, you got a totally different balance.
Well, and that's what made me nervous for us late in the race because we led so much, and it's like we lost track position. I'm like, man, are we going to be
y'all
too
came
tight?
in leading on pit road. And, yeah.
When you came in leading, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's like inevitably with the strategies, you're going to lose track position. But when you lead that many laps in the beginning of the race,
right,
you see people just tune their car and then they get behind.
I've always said that. Last couple of years, I said, you got 3 shots to get it right. Stage 1, everybody's, usually we can fire off pretty good, and everybody's kind of figuring which way's up, down, left, or right. Stage 2, they make that one more adjustment, and they're in.
Yep.
Stage 3, no one's making an adjustment anymore. They have dialed it in.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where we've always struggled, is like, which way we need to go? It's like, I'm too loose. Like, tighten it up. We should have hit this beforehand.
Right. And anticipate the track change.
Yeah. And so part of that's on me for sure. But I think this year we've been really, really close, and I've done a good job. I feel like yesterday in the race, I said, I'm fighting I'm just a little bit tight, but the rear's swingy a little bit. But I said, hey, we're in our operating window. Do not mess me up. We're running 8th. Do not get me out of this. Don't swing for being tight and just overkill it.
Right.
And next thing you know, it was track position that was
right.
the light switch.
Well, shout out. Let's start talking about you, new crew chief Charles tonight for
Yeah.
a second. I rode along with you as well on HBO Max. That's such a cool feature to be able to listen to guys run the fence, especially at Homestead. But it seems like just the cadence and the confidence that you have in the car, besides your bit on the last lap, which had me cracking up when you said,
"You're such a."
You are such a. What? How long did you think? Like, hey,
5 laps.
Yeah,
5 laps. I was like, I don't want to jinx it.
But you can at least jinx it into 3 to say I got a flat, and then you can just hammer the wall if something happens, right? But
yeah. Oh no, you can't because it's legal. But yeah.
Well,
if you have a flat tire, maybe not.
That's
we
true.
might be able to.
That's
we
true.
might be able to.
Oh
to,
boy,
to
that's a great area.
it. We'll see about that. But back to Charles, and just you've been a guy that wears your feelings on your sleeve, and which is I've always loved and appreciated about you. Some people don't have the right idea of who you are as a person, but you thrive when you know you have guys that have your back, just like any race car driver, but you in particular, right? I think about guys like Jerry Baxter you had success with, Booty Barker, guys who are like racers with a little bit of engineering. Charles seems like he's a mix of both. Very structured.
He's straight up nerd.
Great guy overall, but let's talk about how you guys have started to get along this year, and obviously some results are following.
I remember our first meeting that we had, and I said, hey man, I just want to have fun. And I said that 23 times, in a matter of 23 minutes, because we were in 2311 shop.
Hey,
you see?
Driving the 23 car.
That's right.
Not the shop.
What are you, doctors?
Airspeed. Damn it.
Damn you.
Damn, I was on a roll.
Fine.
I said that.
Fine.
I said I want to have fun. I want to show up to the racetrack, have fun, win, lose, or draw, just have fun. And he was all on board. And you never know when you have a new crew chief. I ran into you at Martinsville, and you were like, man, you got a good one. And somebody else came up to me and said that. And so the confidence already kind of started to build when we made the announcement. Just hearing other good things about him from other people. And so we fire off into the Clash, which was our first race. Finished 5th, was solid. We go into Daytona, win the duel, have a good run there. And then it's like, okay, we keep showing up with speed and keep doing all these things. And I feel like when I tell him, you know, I'm fighting this, and that, we have a conversation about it, and it feels like it's kind of resolved. And he's like, okay, I'm going to work. And I'm not saying that Booty wasn't that way. I don't know. There's just something different about it. And so, you know, the last three weeks, you know, West Coast swing, and then in Miami, we had speed. We were solid. We had a brakes blowout at Phoenix. Skip wrecked us at Vegas.
What a
I know. And we were running top 5, top 10 in both of those races. So last night I was thinking to myself, or on the plane ride or on the car ride to the plane or whatever, you know, running at road courses, like I qualified second and everybody was like, holy shit. As to where me, I'm like, hey,
I worked hard at
it. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a surprise anymore. And my photographer, Nico, said that. And because I questioned, I was like, man, why am I not over the moon right now? And he's like, well, you have said you wanted to stop being a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And I felt like yesterday was the same way. Like, damn, I hit the fence and gave the 48 the lead. But hey, we finished 3rd. It was a good day. And it's not like, oh man, Bubba Wallace just finished 3rd. Like, this is the best day of his career. Like, no, I expect this every week now.
That's right. And talk about confidence there for a second. Pull up the 48-23 restart clip, because watching this was like, this was one of the strongest moves to keep control of the race I've ever seen you run. Right, and there's been plenty. But you did I hear you start in the wrong gear?
So, whoops.
Okay, take us through this.
Yeah. So
how many to go? The start of the 3rd stage, I think.
Yeah, no, this is the last restart.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're, you know, saving fuel, not really saving fuel, but cooling the motor off. They're coming down the backstretch before you're taking the green. And I get into 3, and I'm in 4th at this point, middle of the back.
Yeah, saving fuel.
Yeah. And so I downshift to 3rd and shut it off again and warming up tires and whatever. So then refire about 30 away. Make sure my switches are alternator's off. We're good. And I'm like, all right, I see my mark where I'm going to go. I'm like, what the
Did you grab? You pushed it back?
I went down, and it was like, oh, there we go. So Denny had split me, and Larson was holding me tight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm trying to give you all the room I can, but
rewind that. If you're watching on YouTube,
we're
breaking
tight.
it down.
But yes, restarted in 3rd. So
you jam it down.
And it seems like, oh, okay, it's not too bad.
Yeah. But right here, you're in a terrible spot.
Terrible spot, and I just held it wide open.
Okay. The 5 was tight to your door.
Yeah. And I was able to pull down and
Yeah.
get some distance, and then we shot out.
The difference of you clearing the 5 there was probably the difference of you running 3rd or 7th.
Yes, for sure.
I'll tell you what, the difference between having the guy behind you that owns a car and having Hostvar behind you, you would have been Carl Edwards 2018.
For
buddy.
sure.
You might have retired after that.
For sure. You get out, you shake Luke Lambert's hand.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
catch y'all
no
later.
doubt, no doubt.
But here we are. Now we're riding in the
Yeah.
car of 48.
Damn it.
Damn it.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And-
And he actually had a good run that whole time and was able to just generate the run. But then
So you're
what
thinking
people
here,
don't know, what you can't see, you see the big lift out of me on the broadcast. It's because of him. Like that
Right
just
there.
got me super tight. And it's
Oh,
like
the air?
Yes, air.
Really?
Oh yeah. I thought I was knocking the fence down.
So were you able to grab him here? Okay,
A
so
little
you
bit.
enter 3 with him, and then does he slide
And then
you?
nope, just capability. Like I'm like, okay, I'm in the preferred lane, and I'm just kind of slipping and sliding. And as I'm doing that, he's just,
Yeah.
and it's like, man, if I was down there, I would have, you know, and that was it.
There's momentum too at that point in
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Man, so then it's like, all right, do you regroup? Okay, let's settle in. You know, the 5 car's coming.
Yep.
So you got a gap. What's the mindset there to finish the race?
Yeah. So when I lost it, I was like, damn it. Not like a pissed off, but just like, okay. But it's funny. I started thinking about MJ during that moment of like, dig deep and do all you can to get back there. And it was kind of right at the same time as Charles came over, it was like, we believe that he's going to fall back because he's used up his stuff to get to you. So keep pressing him. And I'm like, okay. Well, then like the next lap, Freddie's like 2/10 quicker. And I'm like, we're in it. And then the thing about Homestead, though, it's like, okay, I hit that line the lap before. I
It's
just
not
hit
the same grip.
It's like, what the f-? And so I try to figure out, like, then I start going into, I need to do this, need to do that, and the gap starts to build. Here comes the 5. And I didn't even really press the 5 because I was wanting them to battle and maybe get me back closer.
Right.
Well, Bowman gave it up the same way I did and let him by.
Well, so how close were you to that? Right, that came down 7-8 to go.
Yeah, I was maybe 30 back by then.
Okay.
They were already kind of gone.
Man, I feel like now with this new car, I talk about it all the time, culture in your team is so important because the margins are so much thinner.
That's the variable.
And you talked about it earlier, like the people you've been comfortable with, you haven't had much success with. But I think there's like two different types of uncomfortable. There's uncomfortable where you don't want to go to work and you shut down, and there's like healthy uncomfortable where you're challenged and it makes you get better. But you talked about MJ, and I'm sure he's not involved in the nuts and bolts, but just building culture and the stuff he's been a part of. What does that bring to the table?
It's a lot. I mean, I think everybody in the at Airspeed, the shop, Airspeed, knows that MJ is invested mentally. Obviously, we know financially, but being there and being a part of this team and being a part of this sport in the fashion that he is, it brings a lot of joy to the people that show up at work 7 a.m. each and every day. And so I think that's important to have. And then it carries over to the racetrack. Like when we show up, we have all the confidence in the world. Zach, my car chief, he's texting me every week. We got a bullet for you,
Yeah.
So basically, like, here you go, big dog, let her eat.
Yeah.
Do you.
How much communication is there? Because that's something, too, you don't hear in the media a lot of how much communication from the drivers to the pit crew and drivers to crew chief engineer over the course of, like, P and Q and Delta to the race.
Oh, it's a lot. I mean, all we do is text of ideas, and after qualifying, we're sitting there over there by the bus fishing in the pond. I text my crew to come over and hang out, and Charles was the first one to walk over, and we sit there and talk about what we need to do for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It never stops. And it takes me back to talking to Harvick at the shootout last year. And I was like, well, did you miss it? And he was like, the one thing that I don't miss is all the communication that you have to have that has to go on.
Oh, yeah.
From Monday to Sunday.
Never stops.
From February to November, it never stops. 3 a.m. phone calls of, oh, hey, this, that.
I thought about this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's like, I do not miss that.
Yeah, one thing you talked about, I wanted to touch back on, is Nathan Ricketts, right?
Yeah.
He was on the 45 last year. They raced for a championship. Stuart Haas lets a lot of people go.
Yep.
2311 takes on Banks, a couple guys from
Ratcliffe,
Stuart Haas. And they said to him, I mean, not good, bad, or indifferent, but they said, hey, you're off the 45. We're putting you on the 23. We're switching teams. And no matter where you're going, it's always weird when you get switched out of your
I've always wondered that from their
car.
perspective, yeah.
Dude, he has switched to the behind-the-back jack deal, and he is, like, completely crushing it. So that mindset, I feel like you got a group of fighters, and you've kind of gotten into the mindset, too, where you're just going to keep fighting. So you guys are in a dangerous spot, and the culture seems really good.
Yeah. Well, I said, we're the benchmark. I told them we're the benchmark, so everybody's coming for us. So you got to pick what you want to do. You got to keep going.
Yeah.
And so I think, having the culture there and having the relationship I have with those guys is super important because I want it to be like a family environment. And if those guys know that I have their back,
that's right,
win, lose, or draw, that means they're going to have mine in the same fashion. They're going to give it their all each and every stop.
Well, and if you feel like that your team has your back, you're going to perform better.
Yes.
Right? Because if you feel like there's that little bit, like someone's watching you all the time, you're not going to perform at 100%.
Yeah.
So.
And that's like after qualifying, it was the prime example. I qualified 9th. I felt like I left some out there on the table, and Joe and Dickie were sitting up in the lounge because they were going to pit the Corey Heim car in Xfinity. And so I was just like, damn it, starting 9th. And Dickie was like, that's okay. We'll get you some tomorrow. And it's like, okay,
my man.
that's it. And they did exactly that.
What do you think?
Out 23 team dogs of the week.
Hey,
absolutely. Good job, boys.
Hey. What was the preseason goals and expectations set for the 2311 company overall, and then internally with the 23 car? What do you guys think you're capable of this year?
Winning, that's for sure. Tyler set the bar really high. I thought about this. Tyler gave MJ his first loss in the finals.
Oh, damn it, Tyler.
Good job, Tyler.
Damn.
I thought about this last week. I was like, damn.
What a letdown.
Damn. Glad I didn't do that.
He doesn't know what it's like to go to the championship game and lose. Until now.
Until now.
Damn it.
Oh, man. The keyboard words are going to have fun with us. When's he wait for the championship?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But, we fired off our January meeting, and the 45, obviously, more expectation than 23, rightfully so, because the 23 hasn't been in victory lane in 2 years. So the main goal for us is to win. Mm-hmm. And damn sure capable of doing that. The way that we're running now, make the playoffs for us, and get Riley as close as we can to the playoffs. And so I think it's been a good start. I wouldn't say it. It's been a decent start to for us in the 23 and 45, and Riley's gone through a massive learning curve. And so I've been trying to be that shoulder to lean on and talk to him and help navigate, what's going on. Like, I got back home at 10:30 last night. I texted him right away. I said, "What'd you have?" Because he was just complaining about being tight. And I had a lot of moments in the race where I was really tight, but I could do things in the car to
mitigate it.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, this is what I did. And I don't think he's reached that spot yet. Like, he comes from an Xfinity car that has all the skew in the world. When you lift, that thing turns for you. Mm-hmm. Us, it doesn't do that. We get tight. And so helping him understand and get through the processes faster, I think is beneficial for us. But we got to show up and just keep doing what we've been doing and making the most of it. And so the expectations are high for us.
Before I let you go here, buddy, you've been so generous with your time. I know you got a lot of stuff going on, comp meetings and things like that today. Remind the listeners the same question we ask all of them, and you've answered it probably multiple times here on the show. If you had to pick one car and one racetrack to race at the rest of your life, what do you go with?
Steel body car, Bristol.
Oh.
Like Twisted Sister.
Yeah, like a 07?
06, 07.
Oh,
yeah.
Big horsepower.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you had to pick any of those cars from that era to drive, like the 48, the Bud 8 just stands out
which
to
one
me.
comes to mind to me? Was that, that 17 car was always fast there when it was steel body. Kansas car?
The DeWalt car. Man, I don't know. I don't know why the Harvick's 29 car pops up.
With like the spur the good rims, fluorescent red,
Yeah.
is it red? Maybe fluorescent orange.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Anything Toyota. There you go.
They weren't there
in the
yet, so
sport
that's
then,
why
that's why I was
that's
saying.
a good call. You can pick whatever you want to. The neon orange Jeff Burton Singler car was pretty slick too.
I did
one
like
just-
that
Oh,
one.
we're talking about paint schemes.
No, I'm just. Oh, I guess in terms of competition too.
Yeah, I was talking about competition
Sure.
like this.
Yeah.
I always remember that 17 car and the 24 spinning each other out. Like Bristol with them cars when the bumpers didn't line up and they'd spin each other out.
You just
awesome.
sniff on somebody. You can't run into somebody hard enough for Bristol.
No.
to put them in the
No.
fence. Unless you're Josh Berry and drove me into the fence last year at Bristol, but I digress.
Oof.
Most embarrassed you've been at the racetrack?
Just busting my ass on a longboard at Coda. It's easy answer.
Run the clip.
Oh, yep. Higgy, pull it up.
You played it off like a champ too, but that hurt.
Dude, I was hurting. I was hurting for like a week. Like my hip like internally was like I was limping hard.
Dude, you were.
I still have a scar. I still have a scar on my arm. Like it looks like the Buffalo Bills logo.
Where were you?
on my arm?
What part of the track were you going down? The big hill?
Yes, in between
yeah.
1 and 2,
Great
right?
idea.
No. 9 and or 10 and 11.
I thought
yeah.
for some reason I was like, surely he wasn't going down the hill in the front stretch.
Yeah, and the best was I had just passed Julia and Daniel and Justin Marks. They were like, "Hey, what's up? You ready to go down?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll be all right."
No, I'm sure you said something smart ass, and then you got them.
He's like, "Yeah, you can do this. Watch this." H.
At what point did you were like, "Oh, I'm going too fast"? was too late.
Like 5 seconds in, because I did 2 or 3 big carves back, and I was like, "Oh, we're good," and then it just. I'm like, oh no.
Where's the gravel?
And somehow I didn't bang my head, had a watch on, didn't scuff that up. Like, I was like, okay. Just took some skin.
We'll definitely run that as a social clip for sure.
Yeah. That one takes the cake.
I think you've asked this too, but I don't remember what it was. So if I had the Men in Black pen and I zapped all your racing memories, but you had to keep one, what do you keep?
I have to go Kansas win.
Yeah.
That one was solid.
That
'Cause
one
it
was like
roles
validation.
reverse. Yeah, it was roles reverse. Like I passed the 24, the 5, and 48.
Let's go.
See you later. Yep.
Hopefully you can make one of those this year where you can
Damn.
shelf that one and we'll pick another one.
I know it was nice. My uncle, we're building our new house that we're finally in. And my uncle came over. We have a decent-sized trophy case. You start to think, I ain't got many trophies to put on that thing. You know, you're putting up my first go-kart win trophy. Nice. And my uncle was like, you only got 2, bud. Well, we got 3 now from that dual win, so it was nice to be able to put that thing on the shelf. So.
Well, you always build a bigger trophy case than what you need.
That's right. And I told Charles, I said, hey, we got to fill this thing up. And he texted me right after the duel. He was like, hey, there's one for the trophy case.
There you go.
That's it.
There you go. Well, Bubba Wallace, thank you for jumping on the Nonsense Garage right here, Stacking Pennies. Good luck to you in that 23 car.
Homies. Peace.
More Stacking Pennies coming up right after this. And we're back. I love talking to old Bubba. If you guys care to hear more about with that interview too, there's going to be a full episode, 45 minutes worth of Bubba Wallace talking about MJ culture and the like on NASCAR's YouTube this week. So don't miss that. And here we are, buddy.
Yeah.
What now?
Oh, brutal
Tough
day
stretch
yesterday
for the
for
12
us. It's been a tough stretch for the 12, and I'll tell you, our woke up yesterday morning to a text message from our rear tire changer. Had the stomach bug. He wasn't coming. Right, so you put in all this work. We have Homestead circled. It's like, all right, got to work with a backup tire changer. Justin Fox fills in
Sunday morning
about 6:30.
About time to head to the bird.
My alarm just went off. I got up. We flew out at 8:30. I always try to leave an hour and a half before is usually just in case you get a flat tire or something going to the airport. So I'm like, oh boy, Justin Fox usually changes tires on the rear 34.
Is that Raymond Fox?
Raymond Fox, our car chief's kid. He filled in. Great job. Certified dog.
Mm-hmm.
Did a great job.
Young pup.
But it's just like tough because you have this race circled. You know your car's fast. And we did well. We lost a little bit of track position there. It was really tough. We picked our pit stall. We picked 39 opening out. Well, the 5 car picked the opening in front of us, like the other side of the opening, and the 11 car was behind us. End of the second stage, 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so it's a cluster. We're still getting in our box, angled out, which makes it very challenging. A little bit slower stop, lose some track position, but our car's fast enough. We're coming. And then, man, it just blew up. I haven't seen these Roush Yates motors blow up like this. And 2, I don't know that we've blown up 2 motors in a year.
I know.
So 2 in the first 5 or 6 races is something that's new to us. It started on fire, and oh my goodness,
I saw you on the broadcast with some little spray bottle worth of fire extinguisher that was done.
So since we have had the rocker fires that we had, we always keep these spray bottles just in case, so you can put it out and keep going if there's a rubber fire. Well, he stopped in a box. Timmy's like, yo, you're on fire bad. Pull the box. He was just happened to be pulling by. It wasn't something we planned for him to pull.
Riding along in car cam.
I couldn't
Something
believe it.
dramatically let go in the bottom end of that engine. You see a little bit of puff, and look at in-car camera of Denny. He drove it in the fence because he couldn't see where he was going. Rewind that again.
That was crazy.
Yeah. So right here also, before hit pause. The exit of 3 and 4 is the trickiest part of the racetrack. That's where you're most grip limited. You're sliding around, and you're already up against the fence with limited grip. And now you legitimately do a smoke screen at 140 miles an hour. So if you're watching on YouTube, we've got the in-car of the 11 after the 12 blows up.
Well, you're hoping so he blows up and he goes into the smoke. Now you're like hoping the 12 car's not there.
Right.
Go.
I'm through it, Harry. Oh, that was pretty crazy. And normally when you see a smoke screen like that, it's tire smoke, right? Or, you're anticipating some oil down. So luckily for the 11, that didn't end his day, and also the 12 car was still going straight, and he was able to continue. But, yeah, it's a pretty sketchy moment.
Yeah, ended our day. Moving on.
That was unfortunate.
Got
you guys
totally doused with a fire extinguisher, too. Because mine didn't work, and then the fireman came out, and I opened the hood to try to help him put it out, and he just doused me, bro. So I was tearing down the pit box, sad.
Well, also
filthy.
you got to think that's that guy's moment. He's been waiting all weekend.
Well, he didn't
Truck
know
race,
if he wanted to
Xfinity
do it or
race.
not.
It's like, you're gonna pull the pin.
I tried to rip the thing out of his hand because he was taking a little bit too long, and then he took it back from me.
Yeah,
I was
it's
like, I try to be respectful.
He doesn't
but there's
take
times
he
where they're
doesn't
like,
take your pit
"Uh-oh."
gun. He doesn't take your pit gun from your hand. You don't take the fire extinguisher from that guy's hand. That's his job.
Yeah, but he wasn't like if I didn't jump in front of the car when it was time to go, he might need to take the pit gun.
If you were having a pit stop, you expect that guy to come grab your gun?
There's times where he probably should. There's been times where it's like, hey man, can you finish this up because I'm really struggling.
I don't want to.
And it was one of those. Now this was one of those times for him where I was like, okay, I can bail you out here. I got your back. Give me this thing. But no, like I don't want to ever be disrespectful to those guys. But in that moment, it's you jump over that other side of the wall and things change. You're like, whoa, it's way different out here.
They call it hot for a reason.
Yeah, the hot side.
Can't stand the heat. Get out of the kitchen.
The hot side of pit wall. Man, that's
was the brush fires mitigated by Sunday when you got there?
Didn't see much of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't.
The
I
shot
think the
they showed
traffic
the
pattern
broadcast,
might have been skewed up because of it. We talked about that with Bubba a little bit, but
it looked like it was scorched.
There's a lot of brush down there. You drive through some dense forest if you come in the back way. And that's there's a lot. Homestead's in a different spot down there. It's not exactly in Miami, right? It's in the brush.
Mm-hmm.
And the cities, you can see as you fly in, the city's migrating towards the racetrack. They're building housing complexes and everything right around the track. So it's cool to see it get developed. But yeah, man, there's a lot of brush to start on fire. You went to Salt Lake this week.
I did. Flew out Friday, flew back Saturday night. I love it out there, man. I could live out there.
Yeah, we talked about this.
I love the Rockies.
Shout out Kelly Weaver. I still like New Jersey.
So spent some time with Nick Greer from Built Bar. It's always great to see them. Saw Park City, hung out.
Cool.
And turned around and came home.
Awesome. Yeah, the Built Bar, and now what's it called? Spilt. They've always been a good
separate brand.
Are they separate?
Yep.
So he owned Built Bar, now he owns Spilt, but he's always been a big
supporter of the race car, supporter of the kickball tournament. He's done a lot for me, and seeing what the future holds for him in racing, we'll see.
Yeah.
Crew's birthday Sunday, right?
Crew's birthday was Sunday. It was a bummer not. That's the stuff that kind of stinks. It's like I wasn't able to be there. I had to go see him before I left. Like I went upstairs and woke him up. But man, I was leaving and I felt like, man, I just felt like this feeling of like, man, I don't have any babies anymore. Like he's 5, he's out of that baby. Like we're kind of like, it's just another day, right? But now you're like in a new season of life. Like they just want to, like, instead of like being a baby and doing baby stuff and sitting inside, like now it's.
They do their own
I got
thing.
him a little 4-wheeler, and it's outside the door at 8:30 in the morning on the 4-wheeler till it dies. Back inside, softball practice with Harper, running around. Back outside with the 4-wheeler, charges back up. So it's been a lot of fun though. But yeah, it was a bummer not be there. We had a lot of fun at his birthday party. Levi was there, and he's got a lot of friends. There's like 18 kids there.
Yeah.
So
how could you not like Crew?
That was good. But the race. We talked about it with Bubba, but one guy that had Higgy's got to hear, the host of our strategy call. I wanted to touch on that before we got too far. I really like what Luke's doing here, and I think this team's pretty dangerous.
How many laps is this going to be?
Because
probably 5.
Here they don't have track position, right?
Do you think it's worth like just putting like super slow, staying out? Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Possibly.
This old short track play.
Let's just do that. Because remember the 45.
Well, we talked about it with Bubba when he was on here.
20 to go. And
track position is huge.
And if you don't have it, you have to manufacture it somehow.
That's right. Because you get stuck in the bubble 8th to 12th if your pit crew can't get you a couple
spots. Not even that. If you get stuck in the bubble 15th to 25th,
you're
right?
stuck.
There's different bubbles that you get stuck in that you can't get out of.
And it seemed like they were in that 16th to 20th bubble. So there was a caution 5 to go. The caution was like 9 to go. Got to reset with 5 to go. And they put tires on, and you blast through tires in 5 laps. Not even. I think they're good for like 3 corners, and then you just have you've got what you got. So they had the play of we're literally going to pull over, ride around for 5 laps, hurt our tires the least amount of possible, and we're going to flip everybody because everybody's going to come back down and put tires on it. Some guys might take 2. Some guys, everybody's going to put 4 on.
2?
Somebody took 2.
McDowell
took 2 and went backwards.
Oh.
Because the difference of doing this at a 50% pace versus running hard for 5 laps on your lefts and putting rights on is still significant.
Well, left rear drive is so important.
For sure. Now, where it showed up, so it was a net way positive for him because I think he finished the stage 7th or 8th.
Yeah.
So it got him in the bubble of clean air, restarted on the front row, and the only deficit he was in was turn 1 because that's where the little bit of tire life off stickers versus 5-lap tires will show up, and he managed it to come off turn 2 with like 4th or 5th and only bled 2 spots. So A-plus strategy move from Luke Lambert in that 77 car. Also A-plus content with that Grand Theft Auto social clip. Did you see that?
It was good. It was good.
High-level production out of NASCAR social this year from top to bottom. They have some sick social posts.
I've been listening to a lot of stuff. And I've been thinking about hosts of our, like when I hear people talk about him, right? He's going to learn. He's got to learn. These kids don't learn.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a couple things. All the people that say he has to learn are not teaching anybody anything. And the second thing is, too, the sport has progressed and it's changed, right? And I think you have to, we talked about it last week, but you have to embrace it and also think about the guys that came before you that when you were young hated, like, they're going to learn. I'm going to teach them. That's not how we do stuff. And then it inevitably goes that way, and you just look like a boomer.
Or
right?
like the old guy yelling at the clouds.
That's it. Exactly. But, like, is he going to get planted in the fence? I don't know.
Nobody's
Does
done
he
it yet.
deserve to get planted in the fence? Absolutely. But what he's doing for him is working for him. So, and it's that makes people uncomfortable, right? People don't want to. People in the sport, certain people don't want to see him win, or they scares you when you see new kids come along. I think that what he's doing for him is working in the media, in the racetrack, and do I agree with the way he races sometimes? No, but do I have to? Doesn't matter, right?
No, it doesn't matter.
Does he do the best? A lot of people about Joey Logano.
Yep.
He
Ross
does the
Chastain.
best for his team, right? And shout out to Carson Hocevar. Now if he gets planted in the fence, I won't be surprised. But
People
he's
don't
doing
forget.
what's best
But
for him.
everybody keys the mic up and says they'll do something about it, and nothing's been done yet. So we'll wait anxiously to see if somebody comes and collects.
Yep.
Doesn't seem like that's going to happen though.
Nope. Next video, stage 2 finish. So this was
great.
Unique. Well, it wasn't unique. It was interesting. This is unique to Homestead, where you have different pit strategies and different tires, and these guys ran long, split it in the stage in half, which gave them 10 or 15 lap fresher tires at the end of the stage.
Logano's going a lap down,
So
along
the
with
Colonel
Gilliland,
Cole Custer
Kyle
here
Busch,
is trying to
and
stay on the
Christopher
lead lap.
Bell. Great run off of 2. It's
And he
not
commits
over
to the
yet.
top.
What are
So
they
does the
gonna do with
11.
this lapper? Cole Custer in front of them. Larson's going to shoot to the inside. Custer doesn't give
It's
him
gonna be a
that
drag
outside.
race.
This could be it.
How mad's the 11 here?
Very.
Larson really
But
hooked that
he
bottom
can't
good.
be-
It's going to be a drag race. Here comes the momentum of Hamlin. I think
Boyer.
Larson's going to get him. Oh,
He
ran out of
can't
time. Denny Hamlin.
He can't.
Boyer
The
in
11 can't be
booth.
mad at him because the 41's doing what he's got to do is stay on the lead lap. No different than the 34 when you guys were leading. What about the end of the second stage? Now,
I gotta go back to Boyer real quick. I forgot about this. I can't get off of it. Mike Joy, it seems like gets so frustrated with him in the booth because there was a point in practice or sometime where everybody that's won has had a B in front of their name, and they were talking about Hocevar. Back to what we were talking about, put like the B in Hocevar is silent, and Mike kept going, yeah, he put out this tweet where he said the B, and Clint kept going, Bahosavar. Bahosavar. How would you say that? Bahosavar? He's like, no, Clint, the B is silent. Oh, okay. Bahosavar. And Mike was like, the B is silent. And he's like, oh, yeah, how would you say it? Bahosavar. And he was like, moving on. Like I could just see, you could almost hear, like, from what you're hearing, you could see, like, the
smoke coming out
what
of
the
his ears?
hell? Yeah. But that's what it seems like on the broadcast. And even like Kevin will be like, "Oh, watch this," and be like, "Oh man!" Like he'll just say something completely different.
Well,
I
like
think it's
calling it down
hilarious.
to the line.
Yeah,
and
I think it's hilarious.
You could just see like both of them look at Clint like,
Yep. Oh, it's all the 5 here. Oh no, okay, never mind. Like, I remember there was somebody that used to do that. I think Kyle Petty used to do that. Oh, this one's all them. Vroom, and they get blown by. Oh, sorry.
there's somebody who This is way off in a rabbit hole. Somebody that I really enjoyed in the booth was Wally Dallenbach.
Yeah, I remember Jake lived with me.
Yeah.
Wally's son lived with me. I don't remember much about Wally. Hey,
Man,
shout out Jersey guy, born and raised. You wouldn't know it now. He's completely Texas, but
yeah. Wally Dallenbach, Alan Bestwick, Benny Parsons booth was dialed.
yo, give me Eric Brennan. He reminds me of Alan Bestwick. So
Yeah.
those guys, though, man, those guys made the sport what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, back to what we were talking about.
Yeah, sorry
Those
about
guys, I had to get that out there. Bohosavar.
Denny Hamlin wins stage 2. That was stage 1.
No, that was stage 2. We won stage 1. That was stage 2.
Okay.
Because we were leading.
Oh,
and
and
remember
then
we got
burnt
mad at the 34.
Yeah, burnt there for sure. And then the 11 and the 5 came on through. The 5 was, or Kyle Larson was set up to sweep the weekend. Late race restart comes out when he had a 16-second lead in the Xfinity race. Sam Mayer had his tires picked up off the ground and wondered why the 17 couldn't get going. Cost them both a shot at the win. And Kyle Larson would have been the only other person to sweep a NASCAR weekend. Kyle Busch has done it twice, both at Bristol. That would have been pretty cool to see, but nonetheless, I'm sure this is the one he cared to win the most, and he won it on
I
Sunday.
think it hurts him going back to an H pattern when he has to shift.
Well, when-
also shout out
when
Kyle
your tires
Larson.
aren't on the ground, you're not going to really be able to go forward.
But like, why was Sam? Did he just not get a good launch?
He went late in the box, and then Sam picked him up.
That's why I think some of those guys get frustrated going back and run Xfinity.
It's like, what are you doing?
Go to the
Down a
front.
distance. Yeah, I'm going to the front.
Go to the front. He won Tulare this weekend too in the sprint car.
Of course
Guy's
he did.
just winning everything.
Yeah, where's that? Like Tim Duck 2? Where's that?
That's in California. I think it's where he's from.
Oh, okay.
It's a bigger race for the California sprint car nation.
I was riding in-car camera with a bunch of different guys. The Max app is so good because it syncs. It really is lined up, too, with live race broadcasts and live audio. That was the problem with the app. Sometimes it wouldn't match. The audio would be off of where the in-car camera was and off of the broadcast. It's pretty close
Do it
to
on your phone or on your
sync
TV?
up. Oh, yesterday I had my iPhone up. I had the broadcast on TV. I had my iPad up. I was dialed.
Dude.
Don't
Don't talk to me, kids.
I was
Watch it.
flipping through Denny. I was flipping through Kyle, but I think we have a time-lapse video, Higgy, of the last stage when we walk through that with Bubba as Bubba gets out to the lead. But now the 5 car, here he comes. He was all over the place. Running the bottom, big slider line through 1 and 2. It seems like
Chase Briscoe's in the 19.
Yeah, that was what I said.
Yeah, I forget
Oh.
when I see the car.
Solid run out of that group. P4 for Chase. Love to see that. Did you hear what he had to say? Because he did the tire test at Charlotte. That Chase has to change his driving style up for how much grip that the Gibbs cars have.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's funny how that matters when you go somewhere that makes mechanical grip. It's interesting that he said I just can carry a lot more throttle time. Yeah.
You could drive it harder.
You get to drive it harder, and understandably, the car goes faster. It's interesting how that works.
Crazy.
It's a
Weird
crazy
concept.
theory. So we got the 5 here coming up behind, the 11 running third. Oh, 23. Deuces, Bubba, coming. Let's see what he does here. I'm going to go to the bottom, do a little slider in here. Oh, clear up. Right here, especially through the exit 3/4 market to finish 3 and 4, you're like half throttle, just squeezing. And just on the verge of right rear attachment, and you're trying to do everything you can to keep the momentum up and just get the weight of the car moving faster and faster. This is the race for the lead. The 48 was in the catbird seat here, leading the race by about 7. We saw the 5 get stuck behind the 12 or the 23 in another stage. The 48 gave it up. They were literally talking about him and jinxed him on the broadcast too. They were like, all he has to do is not drive it. Oh, he drove in the fence. And I think that there is the conversation of the 48 season is so much different. Does he win this race or not?
Well, yeah. I mean, a conversation everybody's season is different if you win the race.
Absolutely. So there's a big difference. Sure, Jeff Gordon gets in, the media center. He's our guy, but there's been a lot of chatter, a lot of murmur around that 48 car and how warm the seat is. I think Alex does a pretty good job.
Who do you put in it?
I'm not the one.
Got qualified on the pole, finished second.
That's right.
Now, Kyle Larson's pretty freaking good. 30 race wins in his 300-something start. He's got more. He won 30 races faster than
anybody almost.
Kyle Busch, Joe Logano, Kevin Harvick, name it.
Yep.
And God, he could have 50.
That's what he said.
Amount that but we all could, right? You always.
12
car this weekend. Perfect example.
Well, the first year he was at Hendrick, Gen 6 car, he did win 10 races plus the All-Star race.
But to the point, 12 car this weekend. Hey, if we didn't blow up, we were going to win a race.
No,
right? That's not.
No. I think that what he was saying is how much more of a technical advantage Hendrick had with that car before everybody has to run the same parts and pieces.
Yeah.
So it certainly made it. There's never, and I will stand in this soapbox. There will never be another 10 race winner. There won't be, just because it is so fickle when you hit on something. And it only works 1 week at a time. You can hit on something at Homestead. It doesn't apply to Vegas. It doesn't apply to Darlington. Your baseline's close, but it's the nuances.
What do you think the most somebody will win then in the next gen era?
6 or 7 would be an incredible year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what's the most we saw with the next gen car so far? And also, I could argue whatever the number was the first couple years of teams that were, Penske that hit on it and were head and shoulders above the development, and now everybody else is caught up. If you win 5 or 6, if you win one a month, you're going to be.
Well, Larson's pick. He's the all-time winner in the next gen car too, I believe. With 10? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. They're fast. Good for them.
Now you also saw, Chris Bell win 2 of the first 3, so you can go on a heater.
Chris Bell spun out. What happened there?
Penthouse to the outhouse for the 20 car.
Kyle's 14th win in next gen car. He leads everybody. Man, that's a lot. We got the 20 car spin. I didn't see what happened. I just saw that he
just lost it.
Is that easy to spin out right there?
It's easy to spin out everywhere at Homestead.
Car gets loose,
right there.
comes out from underneath of him, Kev.
Yeah, just flat out lost.
That's right, the area where you're listening to it here. That's the difference of 65% throttle when the car can only take 60% throttle. And you just lose that lateral attachment with the rear tire and it's gone.
Well, and that's the difference of this car, right? To your point, that's why it's hard to win 10 races, because you win, you're going for your 3rd win in a row, and then the next week you're spinning out by yourself.
Yeah.
Right, so
Cup racing's hard.
It's hard. It's as hard as it's ever been. You can't just build a better mousetrap, to your point where you're talking about with Kyle Larson, and dominate everybody every week.
I've got something grinds my gears, and we'll get into it right now. Is this this opinionated idea of passing? And every time I see something I dabble on X a bit more now.
Run the Tony Stewart video. Bro.
I run the Tony Stewart back. Just play it right here for everybody who can listen. If you want passing, go to I-10 and go in the left lane and pass.
Look up racing in the dictionary and tell me what racing says in the dictionary. And then look up passing in the dictionary and tell me what passing is. We're racing here. If you want to see passing, we can go out on 465 and we can pass all you want.
It's called racing, guys. It's not passing. Passing is a subjective term.
All these guys that about passing are the same ones that are tweeting how great F1 is.
I watched the Shanghai Grand Prix.
What the hell were you doing up then?
I watched it on replay.
Oh, I was going to say.
Yeah, I didn't watch it live time. The most boring race I've ever seen in my entire life.
They make it freaking exciting, though, by the commentating.
Why is it, though? I was thinking
he's almost a second and a half behind.
Yeah, he might get there. He almost can get DRS to
get the push to pass or whatever they have. The DRS,
they have made one thrilling pit stop.
Gimmicks. God.
But also, what you don't see from F1 fans is a poll. Was this a good race or not?
Yeah, well, sorry.
No.
Jeff.
Sorry,
Here's the other
I
thing
vote
you don't see.
every week on Jeff Gluck's.
I thought about this, and I asked Joey this on the plane last night. I said, I've been watching this F1 documentary. You know one argument they never have? Money. They're never about money.
Yeah.
And it seems like that, even the race fans, when NASCAR does something, they're like, how much money did that cost? Oh, you got to save the team's money. And I'm like, wait, we talk about saving the team's money, and then you buy your spotter a cool shirt. So, like, why are we always complaining about money? Like, F1's never. All I see is McLarens they're getting in, money they're spending. Like, it's I don't know.
Why are we concerned about that? Because also, everybody that's going to have some sort of argument, they're going to use money and they're going to use safety. To bolster their argument as to what is going to make my specific situation more competitive against yours.
Here's the other thing. Racing cars, historically, forever, is expensive. Yes. You are taking a car and racing it.
Against other people who
are racing cars.
But back to passing.
Yeah, back to Pat, yes.
It makes smoke and really grinds my gears is that I don't know what people expect for passing. When you have cars that are optimized for a certain racetrack, they're all going to run within a certain amount of speed. There are people that have the loudest megaphones in the sport and the largest platforms in the sport that are used to having a car far superior than everybody else's in the field to make passing easier for them. Now we have made the cars 15th, 18th, 25th in the field closer speed-wise, and the drivers aren't as far off in talent as what the guys in the top of the field might have thought they were. Because of course, if now a insert name, 22nd place guy,
John Hunter Nemechek.
If a John Hunter Nemechek's car hits on it and runs 15th, it's going to be harder to pass that guy when your car isn't a half a second faster than his. It's only 300ths faster than his. So then fans only know what drivers tell them because the drivers have the largest platform in the sport. And when those drivers, the most successful drivers historically in the sport, have the largest platforms in the sport, talk about passing is harder. No shit.
Yeah.
No shit. Why is that a bad thing? Why is it a bad thing that we go to Martinsville this weekend and you have to, one, hope you have a good metric from your previous result in Homestead so you have a good qualifying position next week to go qualify in the top 20, and then you have to grit and grind your way to a good day. If you speed on pit road, you are not going to be able to drive back to the 41 car at Ryan Preece last year. You can't speed on pit.
This past weekend.
Yeah. You got to be perfect.
At Shane Vangesberg, and I saw him last week leaving the racetrack. We sat on the bus together back in wherever the hell we raced last week, Vegas. And he was just like, buddy, this is so hard when you go week to week like this. He's like, because you have a bad week, then you get
it snowballs.
He said, then you get a qualifying draw.
Then you qualify bad.
And then you qualify bad, and then you have a bad pit stall, and then you don't run good, and then it snowballs into the next week.
And then it hurts you points.
Yep.
Yeah.
He said, and then it just keeps going. And then you just get in a hole. He's like, I realize why some of these guys are in deep, dark depression.
Yeah. Been there.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Like, he's just like, man, he didn't have a great day yesterday either, so it's just going to snowball, right? Like, it's cup racing is hard.
We just need more passing.
I'll tell you where the best place to pass is.
Where?
Pit road, baby.
Hell
and that's where we're heading. Pit road boats and woes up next. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Time for some pit road boats and woes. We got a couple keyed up for you. First one, what do we got?
I haven't seen any of these yet. This one says 19 Jackman mishap. Let's see it. Ooh, little in-car.
Oh, when behind the back goes bad.
Dang. Oh, so new Jackman this week. 19, their Jackman and Changer got suspended last week. Remember their wheel fell off? So new Jackman, Nate, he's been on the 4 car. He's been crushing it. But, yeah, we talk about it. That's faster, but this is the risk versus reward with this stop. So this is the first problem that we've seen kind of in lifetime. But when you do hit it, it's faster. So he
looked like Magic Johnson or like Jason Williams when he, like, behind the back hits it with his elbow.
Oh, these are the ebbs and flows of pit road of, like, okay, that's where you have to make a decision as a pit crew. Same thing as a race team. Do we go for all-out speed, or do we go for what's going to get us the
bigger
best
margin
thing? Like, what's the risk versus reward, right? Are we going to do 9 flats all race long, or are we going to go for the 8.5 but have an opportunity to do a 12 or a 10, right? Second one, 99 car spins out coming to pit road.
From the 3rd position. Hey, this is about halfway through the cycle here. Easy to do. The biggest difference between banking angle and apron flat, hardest transition probably on the schedule.
And it's dirty.
Super dirty and sandy. So as you see, we'll
And your
ride
tires
along.
wore out.
Oh, dude, you're on freaking ice. Lock the rear tires up.
How bad do you feel when you do that?
I mean, you legitimately feel like everybody's watching and laughing at you because they probably are.
No, they're not.
That's how you feel.
They just go, "Oh man, he spun out."
Like, what?
And they
Yeah, what
forget
happened
about
there?
it 10 minutes later.
Yeah, go rewind that real quick so what your general pit road, you change your bias. So you put some rear brake in so you don't lock the front tires and slide to the box. And you heard it there, just chatter the rear tires enough to, I'm telling you, it is like you are on black ice on old tires coming down for a green flag pit stop at Homestead, and it bit the 99. But luckily it didn't bring out the yellow, and it kept the cycle continuous.
This next one,
What we got?
talking about cars spinning out, the 21 and the 22 kind of get together and spin out on pit road. I don't know. I didn't get to see this fully yet.
It was just about 6 cars in a 3-lane road is what it was. Dink, dink, dink.
Yeah, so he hits the 5 and he spins and he takes Joey with him.
Yeah.
It's so tight down there, dude.
Well, the 21 was trying to stay off of the 22. And you can't see the 5 coming to your right rear. I mean, you know he's coming.
I'll tell you what's scary about this is if you spin and some guys are on the right side of the car, like that's how someone gets hit.
That's a pretty big shot, too, on the right front of the 21. Yeah, luckily nobody got clipped there.
Joey just pulls back in his pit box so they can fix it. All right, we lost our track position. Check it out.
Big damage on the side of the 5's rocker box, too, here, that they never got a chance to fix. They just left it.
They're going to have anywhere damage the 3-1. The same thing happened with us on the 9 car.
Yeah.
The 9
Well, you
kinda
guys
merged.
pulled out one sequence, they had the camera on you, and you literally got hit by like 4 people as
That
they
was
pulled
the
out.
sequence.
Like,
Like, we didn't have a fast stop, but I'm like, man, I don't think that we lost
right
that
here.
much.
Run this right here. It's a
Oh,
tink.
okay, so we check up for
and then there's
him.
another one here. Somebody drives it. Bam!
Oh. Yeah.
Like, Jesus, man.
But, like, the difference is if we come out next to the 9 instead of, like, if we're next to him, because we probably beat him off pit road.
Yeah.
Then we're in front of the 45 as
Yep.
well. Then we're, it's like a 3 or 4 spot delta, which
For
on the
sure.
restart is huge.
Absolutely.
I don't love here,
Tink.
Indy,
Yeah.
Gateway. There's another one. Real narrow pit roads. I don't love picking down
No.
pit road because you're just susceptible to that.
Yep.
If the 5 and the 11 were down there with us, they were fine. But if you do leave yourself vulnerable, if you have a pit stop that you're not, in front of everybody all the way like that, where you're at their quarter, they can just take.
Right.
And we're in the era of just taking.
That's right. Make the other person lift. What?
Everybody is taking. The crew chief's on top of the box calling, good. You
Right.
just merge up.
Right.
The drivers are taking. So
Big woe for Awesome Chase from the same place here.
We got a penalty for not being single file coming on the pit road. I just have them look at it because I gave the spot back. They all checked up. I moved left to not run in the back of someone, and then I gave him the spot back before I even turned down. Just have him look at it. That's a very reasonable thing.
That is
he might have thought he did, but looking back at it, it's not.
The rule is you have to enter pit road single file on the right side of pit lane.
I don't.
He did not do that.
He did not do that.
Sure. Did he give himself some gap because there are historically a lot of accordion checkups there to not get some nose damage? Yes. But you also could gap yourself from his back bumper too.
Yeah.
And the rule says what it says. And they penalize him. I'm sure Alan was fuming, as he probably should have been, because that essentially takes you out of the race. So
I had a lot of tweets about tire roll.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you have an opening, a pit box opening, mine got a little bit further away, but if you have an opening, if your tire roll isn't egregiously out in the middle of pit road and it isn't affecting somebody else's pit stall, that doesn't get called most of the time. So that people are wondering, like, well, that looked like it was halfway in the other stall. Well, like, it's a little bit of a gray area. It went a little bit further than I wanted it to. But 10 times out of 10, they're not calling that unless it affected somebody else's pit stall or it was, like, super dangerous. That's where people get kind of ticky-tack on Twitter. Like, nope, this is what it needs to be. They don't call that. They don't call this. So
I'm airdropping this video for the first Penny for Your Thoughts question. Higgy,
we can go.
Coming to you.
So, yes.
I had one more thing before we get into the Penny for Your Thoughts questions. There was an instance in Xfinity race. Somebody was pulling out of their box, and their tires were laying on the left side, and they hit it, and it clipped the left rear tire. Who was that?
I didn't see it.
Was it Sam Hunt's car, maybe?
So what did it do to the tire when it hit it?
It spit it out a little bit, but I didn't know if they called that an uncontrolled tire or not because it was in the box, and the car pitched to the right to get out of the box, and it clipped it, and it, like, freaking spit it out. No,
it doesn't. I mean, unless it like way out on pit road. The uncontrolled tire stuff is more of a safety thing than it is like a black and white inbounds, out of bounds. As long as you're safe and you're taking care of your stuff, it's not a huge deal. The last thing you want is tires rolling all around pit road.
Yeah.
Penny for Your Thoughts questions. First one.
Not the first one. Let's go to Gucci Raptor.
Okay.
Gucci Raptor. Why does RCR suck with all the history?
It's
Period. Not even
good.
a question mark.
I mean,
period. He didn't even. That wasn't even a question.
What's a question? Why does RCR suck with all that history?
I think he was making more of a statement.
I think it's two separate things, right? Yes, I have the history of Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah.
Now, it's in totally different era, and I think they're on the track to get better. But man, it's really, really, really hard.
And the nuances are the difference. Where if you are one round difference of your aero pitch in the front that puts a little bit too much front downforce in it, too much rear downforce in it, your what they call BOP, your center of pressure, COP. If that's off in relation to how your geometry and mechanical setup is, it can make for your day super long.
Here's the other thing.
But Austin Dillon was up in the mix. Where did he finish? Top 10? He was like racing around the top 4 or 5 at some point.
Well, to our point we just talked about, you
13.
finished 13th. So, but to your point, when you are down right now, it's so much harder to get back because of the metric. You know, you have to like build each week. You're not going to go to the racetrack and because you have the history of Dale Earnhardt driving your car, be better all of a sudden.
No.
Like it's two different things. But it's going to have to be there. They need to be looking at like, okay, Coke 600 time. How do we get better to there? What are we doing to progressively make our program better? By the time the Coke 600 comes, we are trying to win races. You're not going to go, all right, we sucked at Homestead.
Let's go take a walk.
We're going to win Martinsville.
Let's go walk to the museum real quick to see what Andy Petrie did on this hot rod.
That's not it.
That's not how it works.
That's not it.
Now, unfortunately, though, your expectations are that, right? You have to put championships on the wall. You have to put banners hanging. And in nowadays, those banners and championships come fewer and far between when you hit on something.
Yeah. Yeah, in the days of like Gilmore building your motors.
But I have the utmost trust and faith in Randall Burnett. And Richard Boswell, crew chief on the 3 over there, came from Stuart Haas, just an old racer. Those guys are smart enough. They're going to figure it out. They're going to hit on it. But as we have seen, RCR is in a bit of a lull. So they have all the tools to get the ship righted. And we anticipate them. It's all cyclical. It's like a circle. Some people hit on it. And RCR is going to eventually hit on it at some point in time this season. Hopefully they can capitalize.
Next one from Evan2569. How would you rate this race out of a 10? 9.5. I don't know, 10. I don't know. I thought it was fine.
I think it was fine. I think it gave you everything you wanted to see.
It's a 10. What do you want?
Yeah, I think you can ask 12 people and 12 people will give you a different rating. I thought that it was a 9.4.
Yeah. Kyle Nogle 15 asks, if you could make a movie based on one short track event, which event you choosing?
This is the type of Penny for Your Thoughts questions that I want to hear. Thank you for sending this in.
I know exactly what I'd do. It'd be a hangover type movie based on the Gambler's Classic. And it would be called,
Is It Noon or Midnight?
Is It Noon or Midnight?
Yep.
Just a classic quote from Off Axis Greg. There's this big clock in the bar when we go race Atlantic City. And when you race Atlantic City, you go to all the parties are in the casinos right after because it's all connected.
You stay inside all day.
So when you go into a casino,
They pump
it full of
oxygen.
oxygen. You don't know what time it is. So there's a famous picture of Greg that he took a picture with the clock, and he said, "Is it noon or midnight?"
We had no idea.
So that's what I would name that movie.
That
Which one would you?
That would be a good one. If I can make a movie based on one short track event, I think we had a couple very good documentary style snowball derby trips.
Yeah, what not to do.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what?
It would have been one.
McFarland Freedom 500. That's what we're gonna make a movie on in 2 weeks when we go down there with you.
Shout out Cletus and the Freedom Factory 500, the Freedom 500. Going down there to drive whatever car was it, Crown Vics or something. I'm pumped up about that.
Let's get to your smart ass wife. What is the proper way to cut a birthday cake from?
All right, run the clip here.
So, context. This cake was.
It was.
Falling apart. I didn't make the cake. I just cut it.
You're jipping these kids.
All right.
Jesus.
Listen,
one kid gets a 6-inch slice and one kid gets a butchered piece of dough.
I learned.
Here you go, son. Here's a piece of icing.
I'm learning
one crumb.
that not everybody likes to give their kids cake. There's some crunchy parents out there that they're like, no, or smaller. So, like, this cake was a Forky cake. I don't know if you know Forky from Toy Story 4, but it was a tall cake. So when you cut it, it would you'd cut it. You couldn't cut these big pieces. You have to cut it thin, and it would just fall over on itself.
It's not rocket science.
I passed the cutting knife off to.
No. From what I heard the lady that was working at this place was like, "This guy needs."
I had to pay her, so she had her keep.
She looked at you like you looked at the guy with the fire extinguisher on pit road. Like, this guy's fucking struggling. Let me take this thing from him.
Yeah, but it wasn't my job. It was her job. But I feel like as a father, it's kind of my job. But the way that if you looked at the roster, she'd be listed as the cake cutter, so she needs to cut the cake.
Fair enough.
My bad.
Anything that grind your gears this week besides that cake?
No, but we have a couple more questions. I don't know if we're going to get to them. Nothing really grinds my gears. Blown motor stinks.
Yeah, sucks.
We'll cover these ones. Hey, here's one. Your favorite Built Bar. This guy's is Cookies and Cream, 1870 off-road. His cookie dough puff and apple almond crisp. I haven't had that one. Oh,
it says R.I.P. They discontinued it. I do like the cookie dough puffs.
I like the s'mores one.
Yeah, their s'mores one's good.
The puffs are good too.
Mm-hmm. Corey, would you ever consider owning an SPP truck or an Xfinity team?
Damn it.
What?
Last time we talked about this.
Yeah, did you not?
When's the last time you ate? You're not on a fast.
I'm fed.
Nobody's twisting your nipples here.
No, nobody. Okay. Bob Parker's sitting here twisting.
Would you ever consider owning a Stack and Pennies performance truck or Xfinity team?
Not a truck or Xfinity team. You ever seen a Bob Parker's tweet when they list out the purses, Sunday, Saturday, Friday, and the numbers just two digits gets whacked off of every one?
Look at the time. Hey, I did see a Bob Parker's tweet about Kyle Larson's. Did you guys have that? His mindset? That's one thing to touch on before we get out of here. Then we're going to land this bird.
This one, I sent this to the group because I found it super fascinating.
Not that. Definitely extra motivated. And given, past history, I just wanted to take the green flag and kick everybody's ass today, honestly. Like, I wanted to get to lead early and just dominate like I was yesterday. But then the green flag flew and it was like the opposite. I was going backwards and, getting pissed off in the helmet and just frustrated. But, just figured that day was not going to go like that. So then, you just forget about all that. I think just leading into the race, that's what your thought process is. But then, after 10 laps or so, I quickly forgot about the wanting to kick everybody's ass all race long. And was just like, all right, let's try and work hard at this and get a win. And that's kind of how the race played out. So, yeah, I mean, I'm proud of myself for kind of overcoming that immature mindset, before the race and, just digging down deep to stay in it because it wasn't a typical Homestead for me. I was never able to get to lead until it really mattered, where typically, I lead all the laps that don't matter, except for the last one. So, yeah, just proud that, we're able to keep our heads in it today.
Here quite a bit. Like his mindset going in there is like 10-10s all the time. So for him to figure that out, I'm sure Cliff has worked on that quite a bit with him. And that's where the value of running trucks and Xfinity, like 3 races in a weekend, comes in for him, because he probably learned those lessons in the truck and Xfinity race and transferred over, like, okay, hey, don't make the same mistakes that I made yesterday or that I made last year. Dangerous. Kyle Larson is a dangerous man when his head's on right.
And just based solely off that interview answer, I would say that it is, because not only is his process and speed in the race car of his racecraft, how much he races during the week in a sprint car, how that hones his skills to be able to find the grip, find the line, get himself in clean air, and manipulate the car. He's also very self-aware of how his emotions and controlling them in the car too. So to your point, that makes him a dangerous fella, because there are a lot of guys with talent. There are not very many guys. I think of a guy like Denny Hamlin, who has the whole package, right? He's very self-aware. He's certainly has an excellent feel for the car and the tire, and we're seeing Kyle Larson continue to develop into the greatest driver on earth, which arguably he might be that right now.
Don't tell Chris Bell that.
Proved it again this weekend. All right, guys, that's all we got today. Hope you enjoyed it. So continue to tweet us your questions, whether it's on X or Instagram, #Penny for your thoughts. Keep scoping out @_stacking pennies for all your favorite clips and all your stories to put in those questions. Also, give us a follow if you listen to us on your podcast. Give us 5 stars, give us a review, all the things we ask. We don't ask much. We ask you just do that.
Hey, listen to Spare Change too, because we're going to be quizzing these crew chiefs on if they pick pit stall 1, what's going to happen to them.
We're going to tell them.
We're going to tell you all about Martinsville.
It's like the little carrot. I got you a carrot.
Thursday. And there was a hell of a burnout we could break down.
Mm-hmm. So we'll break that burnout down, Spare Change this week, but also you can tune us. You can watch this Stacking Pennies in video form, whether you're on Spotify, YouTube, or Tubi. Go scope us out. Thank you so much for your time and your interest. Keep stacking pennies each and every day. Core of the Joy alongside Ryan Flores here. Have a great week. Goodbye.